Hi, superstars. It is time for math, and we are on lesson 6-3. Represent addition as putting together. Daniel sees two tomato plants. One has two green tomatoes, and the other has three red tomatoes. Let's use counters to show the tomatoes on each plant. And then we're going to write the number of tomatoes under each plant. How many tomatoes are there in all? So first he sees one plant that has two green tomatoes. So I am going to draw some counters. And I'm going to say this plant here has two green tomatoes. So here's one green tomato, and here's another green tomato. So I have two green tomatoes on this plant. And then he sees three red tomatoes on another plant. So I will put three red tomatoes here. 1, 2, 3. 3 red tomatoes. Now we want to know how many in all. So we have two groups of tomatoes, and we want to put them together so that we can figure out how many in all. So we have our two counters showing two green tomatoes, and we have three counters showing our three red tomatoes. So if we put them together, let's count them. 1, 2. We know we have two green here, so let's repeat 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have 5 tomatoes in all. Let's go to our next page. All right, let's look at our first box right here. Let's say I picked 2 tomatoes, and then I picked 4 tomatoes. So how many tomatoes did I pick in all? Well, let's look at our next box right here. So what can you show with the counters? Well, we can show the groups of tomatoes. So how many tomatoes are in this first group? 2. And how many tomatoes are in this second group? 4. So we have our 2 counters for 2 tomatoes, and we have our 4 counters representing the 4 tomatoes. Let's look over here in our last box. What does this drawing show? It shows the groups of tomatoes. So what is one way to put together these 2 groups of tomatoes? We can draw a circle around them. What is this sentence down here telling us? It's telling us how many there are in all when you put the groups together. How many are there in all when we put together 2 and 4? 6. So 2 and 4 is 6. Let's look down here at our guided practice. We're going to use counters. I'm going to be drawing them. And we are going to look at these groups. We have 2 green bell peppers. We have another group of bell peppers. We have 4 over here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to put these two groups together in order to figure out how many in all. So let's write our addition sentence to show how many in all. In our first group, we have 2 bell peppers. And in our second group, we have 4. 2 and 4 is 6. Let's look over here at number 2. We have one group right here of eggplants. Let's put some counters on each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So one group of eggplants, and there are 5 in that first group. We have another group, and these are tomatoes. 1, 2. So 5 and 2. How do we put these together? We are going to combine the two. 5 and 2 is, so we know that we have 5 in our first group. 5, 6, 7. 5 and 2 is 7. Let's go on to our next page. Let's look at problem number 3. We have 2 groups of vegetables or corn. Let's use counters to see each group. In our first group here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to put in our addition sentence 5 in our first group. In our second group, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's write in our addition sentence 4. We have 2 groups. We want to put our 2 groups together. So let's put a circle around both groups. 5 and 4 is, so we know we have 5 in our first group. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So our addition sentence is 5 and 4 is 9. Let's look at problem number 4. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to use counters for our first group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's start our addition sentence by adding our 6. 6 and 1. 6 and 1. We have our 2 groups. We are going to add our 2 groups together. We have 6, 7. So 6 and 1 is 7. All right, let's go to our next problem. 5. We're going to use our counters again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's put 8 in our addition sentence. One group with 8. Our second group has 1. 8 and 1 is, let's combine the 2 groups, put them together. 8 in our first group, 9. So 8 and 1 is 9. You're doing great, superstars. Let's look at number 6. Our first group has 1, 2, and our second group has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our first group had 2. Our second group had 8. So in our first group, 2, second group 8, we are going to combine the 2 together. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 and 8 is 10. Okay, superstars, you are going to continue. You're going to do the independent practice on your own. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye.